President Donald Trump's war on what he calls fake news intensifies at the White House after several news organizations were blocked from joining a White House press briefing. The New York Times, CNN, and Politico were just some of the news outlets not allowed in. Fox News and conservative website Breitbart News were given access to the gaggle. The White House defended the decision, saying they invited the pool so everyone was represented. President Trump took it a step further by saying he will not attend the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Meantime, President Trump says a new travel order will come out in a matter of days, but he isn't offering specifics on how the administration will replace the travel ban that was knocked down by a federal court. And a draft of President Trump's health care bill that will replace Obamacare has been released. The president addresses a joint session of Congress Tuesday night, and he's got a lot of items on his agenda to discuss. So what will he focus on in his speech? That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can also send me a tweet. What would you like to hear him talk about? Just tweet me at Sally Mack, Fox 26. Joining us now is our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, Democratic media consultant, Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst, Jackie Valley. Good morning again, guys.
Good morning.
So what do you think he will focus on this Tuesday night?
You know, presidents use, especially their first State of the Union, to lay out an agenda for the first 100 days, and President Trump's been ticking through his agenda as quickly as possible here through a series of executive orders. And Mustafa, you would expect the president to lay out a pretty strong set of a series of agenda items that he wants Congress to do, but that Donald Trump has done nothing that you would expect a president to do yet. And so what do you expect to see?
Well, you hope that he puts out an agenda that he can get the Republican Congress in line with and pass some legislation. You know, there was big criticism Barack Obama about executive orders, and this president in his first 35 days has issued executive after executive order. So we want to see something that's more concrete that the Congress could vote on, rather than just relitigating the campaign over and over again. This is time to start moving the American
It looks like Obamacare, they're already pushing that through the end of this year anyway, and so I don't expect to see, he may talk about it, but I don't expect to see him push the Congress to try to do something here quickly. He already said end of this year.
I believe we're going to hear more about what that reform or what the repeal or revisions, because he has said that first he said he was going to repeal it. Now he's saying he's going to revise certain provisions, and we will hear more about that. It also will have a very patriotic tone, which is what our president usually does. And also we'll hear more about his immigration reform plans and national security plans. And last but not least, he will touch on tax reform, because that's something that he has been very focused on as well.
I think you will hear a lot about tax reform, and he's going to talk about the wall. But the one thing about the wall I think that people should be noticing is every speech in the last few weeks, he's stopped talking about Mexico pay for it.
Well, the other thing is that Paul Ryan's talked about creating a border tax, a VAT tax, where people would pay for anything that's imported from Mexico. And for Texas, that's an enormous problem. So if they try to pass some kind of a tax reform that would tax goods coming in from Mexico, then that means Mexicans will tax our goods. And for Texas, it's a disaster.
How can any good Republican stand for that?
We have been hearing that there are two different provisions that we've heard. We've heard either taxation or taxation on imports and exports, or taxation on dollars being sent to Mexico. Any Republican will support having a stronger border, because we don't want criminals coming into our country.
All right, let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, we're pulling up some tweets from President Donald Trump. He's up early this morning tweeting as he often is. Let's pull those up for you here. We're going to just sort of get our technology working. Let's see if we can pull him up. And his first tweet here, this was late last night. He says, "I will not be attending the White House Correspondents' Association dinner. Please wish everyone well and have a great evening." And then early this morning, he tweeted this out. He said, "For the first time, the New York Times, the failing New York Times, will take an ad, which he characterizes as a bad one, to help save its failing reputation. Try reporting accurately and fairly." It's not a huge surprise that he's not going to attend the White House Correspondents' dinner, right, guys? I mean, given his adversarial relationship with the media lately, it's typically attended by a lot of celebrities who he's made it clear he doesn't like.
Well, it's no surprise to me. He's been, they've been kind of talking that he wasn't going to go, and with the relationship he's got right now with the media, it certainly would not have been a fun event for him with what would happen at that thing. Let's talk about what's been happening with the media, especially with the news gaggle this week, and them excluding a few of the media outlets. He said last week the leaks are real, the news is fake, and I said last week if the leaks are real, the stories are real. And what the president does, it seems to me, is trying to change the stories away from these Russian stories because he doesn't want the stories.
Absolutely. Look, every single president, Democrat or Republican, has a contentious relationship with the press because that's the purpose of the press, is to basically speak to power.
And let me interrupt you, because didn't President Obama do almost the same, not to this extent, almost the same thing to Fox News?
And he was highly criticized for that. But let's think about this, right? President Obama was criticized about that. The policy had changed. President Trump has attacked the media and called the media the enemy of the American public. That is just outrageous. And in a time period where power has to be checked, he's completely unchecked about
When President Obama did it to Fox News, he didn't exclude them from anything. Listen a minute, didn't exclude them from anything, and he never called them the enemy of the people.
The hatred and vitriol that we see coming from the liberal media attacking our current president is hurting the country as a whole, because people outside of our country is looking at this. The words that they have said about the president, the words that Hollywood and liberals are attacking his child, it's unconscionable. It's at a level that we've never seen as a figurehead of someone who is running our country. And as a result, I'm not surprised the president's not going to the correspondents' dinner. I don't want him to go. I want him to continue to be our president.
We got to wrap.
Donald Trump ran around the country for 5 years saying Barack Obama should give his naturalization papers. Oh my God! I mean, it's like
we got to go. We got to leave it right there. We could go on again forever, but we got to leave it right there. We'll be back next week, wrapping up the hottest stories of the week.
All right, we'll be watching his address to Congress on Tuesday night. Thanks so much, guys. Right now, we're going to